Every chateau has its story, and mine started with a place almost ready, a holiday home waiting to become something deeper. When I found this chateau, it wasn't a ruin, but it needed someone to truly live in it. Bit by bit, I've made it my own, navigating the ups and downs of renovation and life itself. Beyond these walls, I'm a dancer, a choreographer, a creative soul bringing that same passion into every corner of this home. Join me as we dive into how it all began, not just a renovation story, but a journey of finding home and self along the way. As I planned the renovations for my 2 new ensuite bathrooms, I knew I was stepping into unfamiliar territory. I had always dreamed of doing renovations, of taking a space and truly making it my own. But the reality was, I've never done anything quite like this before. My father comes from a background in engineering and construction, was my guide. He came to France for 2 short weeks to help me get started. Those were intense days, working side by side, building up walls and planning out the water evacuation. Every task felt new, and his experience was invaluable as he explained everything, even things I'd need to know once he was back in Germany. Unfortunately, I do not have a lot of footage from this early stage of renovations, so bear with me with the footage that I had still left of those days. One of the biggest concerns was the water evacuation system. I'd never done anything like it, and I had moments of real fear, even nightmares of the house ending up underwater because of a mistake. It sounds funny now, but at the time the responsibility felt massive. Learning these basics step by step made each part of the project feel more manageable. Putting up the stud walls was another first for me, and I was surprised by how straightforward it was. Understanding how to get the framework up, making sure it was stable, and learning to work with the materials. It all began to feel less intimidating. With each wall, I gained confidence, and soon the bathrooms began to take shape. Then came the plastering, covering every wall to create a smooth canvas ready for painting. With each coat of paint, I felt the space coming together, bit by bit. In the end, standing back and looking at what I've done, I realized this wasn't just a set of bathrooms. It was proof of the skills I'd learned and the confidence I was building. Every step, every nail, every coat of paint was a small victory, a reminder of what I'm capable of. These spaces weren't just transformed for my guests, they were transformed for me, as a part of my journey, as someone who's truly learning to create a home. After I had done so far, and I had raised the floors in the bathrooms, I had carefully put in the evacuation pipes, I was connecting the water with the so-called multi-couche system. It's a straightforward method, but for me, learning how to install something so crucial to the space was a huge step forward. Sure, looking back now, there are things I would do differently. Renovating a home teaches you so much, and with each step, you learn skills you didn't have before. But I've come to realize that compromise is a part of every project. With each step, you have to adapt, because honestly, things rarely go as planned. Maybe your financial situation can't sustain that perfect vision, or you don't have the exact skill set yet. Or right help isn't available at the time. It's always a mixture of things. Now, After 2 years of renovating this house, I have more expertise and confidence. Yes, I'd be better at it, and yes, I'd do some things differently, but I've also learned that you have to accept what you've created so far. Each choice, each compromise has shaped the space, and that's what makes it my own. A journey of constant learning, patience, and a lot of improvisation. And sometimes it's more rewarding than perfection. One of the biggest lessons I learned early on was the importance of keeping a clean and organized construction site. It might sound simple, but it took a surprising amount of time. Every day between building walls and plastering, I'd stop to clean up and make sure everything was in order. When you're surrounded by tools, materials, and endless tasks, it's easy for things to get chaotic. As much as I loved creating new spaces, I found a special joy in repurposing furniture that was already here. For example, I took 2 single beds and crafted a new bed from them, painting and reworking the pieces to give them new life. Up in the guest rooms, I transformed old beds into box springs, adding comfort and a fresh look to welcome guests. With each piece I upcycled, I felt the space become more personal. It was about taking what was already part of the chateau and breathing new life into it, often with just a few coats of paint or small adjustments. Alongside these transformed pieces, I added mirrors, carefully chosen accessories, and items I found in Brocantes scattered around the region. Slowly, with each piece, the house began to feel more like a home, a place filled with personality, history, and my own touch. Which brings me to the world of Brocantes. Brocantes are like treasure troves, filled with everything from thrifted furniture to vintage tableware and practically anything else you can imagine. Some specialize in antiques, others offer a mix of newer and older pieces, and you can find anything from mantelpieces to old doors and windows. If it has a history, there's a good chance it's sitting in a Brocante waiting to be rediscovered. For anyone restoring or renovating a historic home, Brocantes are invaluable. They offer a way to find truly unique pieces that bring character to a space. And it's not just about the furniture, you can even find building materials. That add materials can be more costly than buying new. Brocantes have become such a part of my life. I've become a bit of a brocante enthusiast, or maniac really, always on the lookout for that next great find. Though I've slowed down a bit these days, there's still nothing like the thrill of discovering a piece that will add just the right touch to the chateau. It's a beautiful culture and it's added so much depth to my renovation journey. We're in this place I've never been, but it's really, really well sorted and really good. And I think I found a door. It's amazing how transformative something as simple as paint can be. Take my downstairs guest room, for example, the one my parents use when they visit. I didn't do any major renovations, but by painting the walls and adding a curtain to separate some storage space, the entire feel of the room changed. Just those small updates turned it around completely, making it feel fresh, inviting, and entirely new. Sometimes it really is the simplest changes that have the biggest impact. What leads me into the garden. One of the most transformative parts of this journey has been the garden. When we found the chateau, the front space was lifeless, completely tiled and gravelled with not a hint of greenery. The concrete tiles stretched across the area right in front of the chateau, and it felt more like a wasteland than a welcoming entrance. My biggest achievement so far has been breathing new life into this garden, giving it a sense of purpose and beauty. When I returned from Germany, I needed a way to clear my mind, and I found that in the garden. I started by removing those tiles piece by piece, opening up the space for something new. I created temporary pathways, knowing that the final design would take time to fully develop, but eager to see green begin to take root. Each step brought a little more life into the garden, a little more color, and slowly the transformation began. It's still a work in progress, but bringing greenery back to the front of the chateau has become one of my proudest accomplishments. For the first time, the garden is starting to feel like an extension of the home. The area where the pool once was had become a blank slate, and I wanted to make something truly purposeful out of it. My vision was to create a space for teaching yoga classes in the summer, so I set out to build a deck over half of that open barn. The other half would remain with its original concrete slab, offering flexibility for other uses. This was my first time ever building a wooden deck, and I did it entirely from scrap materials I found around the chateau. Not only did it save money, but it also gave new life to materials that were just waiting to be used. Slowly, that empty space started to transform into something I could use and share, a project built from scratch with purpose and intention. It was like it's gonna go the other way, but maybe, yeah, we'll have to see. Not sure where to put it. If I put it on the gate, it will be easy to put, but actually, I don't like it so much. Maybe we could try putting it here, like next to this. This could be cute. But you guys, have you seen the sign? It looks so cute. I love it. I really love it. My next personal milestone was opening up my B&B business here in France, and I was so incredibly nervous before my first guests came, and I just wanted to share that moment with you guys. I put the towels here, and then a little carafe of water and 2 glasses here. I really hope it's gonna be nice. I don't know, it really feels like your first day of school, and it really feels like, is this right? Is this okay? Will this be okay? Will people like it? It's like, I'm really, really scared. So, okay, one last check in the bathroom. Every light works. It's all clean, everything. And we've also got all our products still there. Room spray, everything. This is new. Toilet paper. Almost forgot about toilet paper. Toilet paper and tissue paper. In 2023, I took a big step and opened the B&B. The response was better than I'd imagined, and I was thrilled to welcome guests and share this space. I spent that summer preparing breakfast, setting up rooms, and running every part of the B&B myself. But as successful as it was, it quickly became overwhelming. I had my first real breakdown that season, realizing how intense it was to handle everything on my own. The experience taught me that, without some help or pacing myself, I'd risk burning out. It was a strong start, but I knew I had to slow down if I wanted to sustain this dream. One of the most rewarding parts of this journey has been the chance to really experience another country in depth. I've been so grateful to Alexi by my side, leading me into this culture and sharing the French way of life with me. Markets have become a staple. French markets, full of life, local produce, and the essence of daily French culture. Each visit is a reminder of the simple pleasures in life. That summer, I spent time outdoors by the lakes, enjoying the local beaches, walking and hiking, taking in the beautiful landscapes around me. For Alexi's birthday, we celebrated by the lake, creating a special evening for him in a place that's become meaningful to both of us. Later that year, though, came a difficult time. Alexi's mother passed away, and in late summer, we found ourselves clearing out her home. It was a heavy task, but we were there together, supporting each other and honoring her memory as best as we could. By late September, we took some time to escape to Île de Ré. It was a magical trip, a peaceful pause in a year full of challenges. We explored the island, wandered through its little towns, and spent quiet moments by the Atlantic Ocean, a true escape that gave us time to recharge and reconnect. Right before Christmas, we visited La Rochelle. The city was beautiful, and although the air was cold, the sun shone brightly over the Atlantic. It felt like the perfect closing to the year, with one last glimpse of the ocean and the warmth of the coast. As the year came to an end, I was grateful for all of it. The joy, the challenges, and the precious moments we'd shared. The last images you'll see are of a rainbow over the lake near the chateau, a fitting end to such an eventful year and a promise of new beginnings ahead. Another year had passed. It's just insane if you think about this, all these things that happened and all the skills I learned in that 1 year only, and how much of a difference it made in my whole life. And we didn't even touch upon my dance projects during that time, which was also quite tumultuous and was a very unsure time in my artistic perspective. And I think I was on the verge of things. I wasn't sure which way I was wanting to go. I think it was just a lot to process in that year, understandably. Going through a divorce, going through all these steps. We had to stay separated for a year to even file for divorce, and all these things, all these organizational things that had to be done. I was glad when that year ended and we moved on to this year that we are now, 2024. So the last video that you're going to see in this series, which if you're watching this and the video just came out, you will have to wait a week. And if you're binge watching this one, then you'll just click on to the next one. You'll find my summary. Was it worth it? How did it all end up? What was the future of the B&B? What made me decide all these different questions? What was my financial situation? So I'm kind of trying to wrap it all up in regards to looking back and looking what changes I would have made, how I would have maybe acted differently, what I would have done. But just alone, 2023 was so crazy. If you go from the span of October 2022, when we bought and signed, until the point of this video, my mind is blown. So all that is left to say is à bientôt et au revoir. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps immensely. And I shall see you all in the next video. Until then, bisous from the southwest of France. Bye!